Last shift. My name is Jamie. I used to work the graveyard shift at a small roadside gas station, open 24 hours but dead quiet after midnight. No name on the building, just a flickering open sign in the window and a rusted bell that rang when someone walked through the door. It wasn't a bad gig. Easy, mostly. Clean a bit, man the register, restock the fridges. The owner, Ron, paid in cash, $90 a night. No taxes, no questions. That night started like any other. I showed up at 10 p.m., took over from the day guy, and settled into the usual rhythm. A couple truckers came through around 11 for smokes and coffee. A teenager tried to steal a candy bar around midnight, but I caught him and scared him off with some half-baked story about the place being haunted. He laughed. I didn't. By 2 a.m., the station was silent again. I sat behind the counter with my feet up, sipping flat soda and scrolling through my phone. That's when the lights flickered, just once. Enough to make me glance up. I didn't think much of it. Old wiring, maybe. Then I heard it. The front door bell. Ding. But no one was there. I leaned forward, peering into the empty parking lot. Just the dim yellow lights buzzing overhead and the outline of a car parked off to the side. A sedan. Older model. Blue maybe, or green. It was hard to tell under the sodium lights. I didn't see it pull in. "Hello?" I called out. Nothing. I stepped out from behind the counter and walked to the glass doors. They whooshed open with that mechanical sigh I'd heard 1,000 times. Still no one. I walked outside, the cold air biting my skin. The car was there, but the engine was off. No lights. No sound. I walked toward it slowly. The driver's side door was open, keys still in the ignition, but no one inside. I looked around, half expecting some drunk guy to stumble out from behind the dumpsters. But the lot was empty. Deserted. Even the freeway that ran parallel to the station was quiet. I backed away and went inside, locking the doors behind me. When I sat down again, the phone rang. We didn't have a working landline. The station never had one, at least not in the time I'd worked there. But there it was, ringing, shrill and insistent from behind the counter. There was no caller ID, just a blank screen. I picked it up. "Hello?" Silence. Then a whisper. "Don't go back outside." I froze. Who is this? Click. The line went dead. I stared at the handset. My hands felt cold and damp, and my stomach churned like I'd eaten something bad. I put the phone down slowly, trying to convince myself it was a prank. Someone messing with the new guy. Maybe the teenager I scared earlier had come back. I went to the back room to check the camera feed. We had 4 grainy black and white screens showing the outside lot and inside corners of the store. The monitors buzzed quietly. One screen, the feed facing the front, was static. Another showed the sedan, and someone was standing behind it. I leaned in. The figure didn't move, just stood there facing the back of the car. Pale. Still, almost mannequin-like. Could have been a trick of the light, except it wasn't there a few minutes ago. I watched, waiting for it to move, to give me something human. It didn't. Then the second monitor, the one facing the side of the store, flickered. The figure was closer now. No face. No features, just a pale shape, like a smudged reflection of a person. I slammed the office door shut and locked it. Back inside the room, I pulled out my phone. No signal, of course. I waited, eyes locked on the monitors. The feed outside the back door suddenly went black. Just a message. No signal. A loud bang echoed through the store, like something had slammed into the front glass. I jumped up, heart pounding, and crept out of the office. Everything looked the same. A few candy wrappers on the floor. The hum of the coolers. Then I noticed it. The keys. They were on the counter. My keys. I'd left them in my backpack in the back room. Now they were right there next to the register. Someone had been inside. I ran to the back room again. The door was still locked. No broken hinges, no open windows. I was sweating now, my shirt clinging to me like wet paper. Every part of my brain screamed for me to leave, but the doors, locked from the inside, were now stuck, jammed like something was holding them shut. The monitors crackled once more, and now the figure was inside, a still frame of the register. The shape stood behind it, right where I was now. I turned slowly, scared to even breathe. No one. I reached beneath the counter, fingers trembling, and pulled out the emergency flashlight. Its beam flickered but held. I moved cautiously around the aisles, checking every corner. Empty. Then I saw the storage door at the back of the store, open just an inch. It had been locked earlier. "Hello?" I called out, voice cracking. No reply. I stepped closer. The air near the door was cold, unnaturally cold, like walking into a freezer. I raised the flashlight and pushed the door open with my foot. Nothing inside, just shelves, boxes of snacks, toilet paper, cleaning supplies, and one more thing. Photo pinned to the corkboard on the wall. It was old, yellowed with age. A group photo, 5 people in front of the gas station, same layout, same windows, but the people, my throat tightened. One of them was me, same face, same tired eyes, but the photo looked like it was taken decades ago. My knees went weak. I stepped back, knocking over a crate of paper towels. Suddenly the power cut out. Darkness swallowed the store. And then in the silence, I heard it. Breathing. Right behind me. I turned fast, shining the flashlight. Nothing. I grabbed my keys from the counter and ran to the front door again. This time, it opened easily. The car was gone. The lot was empty. And when I looked back at the store, the open sign wasn't flickering anymore. It was off. Completely dark. I drove away, tires squealing, heart racing. I didn't stop until the sun was up. When I went back the next day to quit, the building was boarded up, like it hadn't been used in years, and there was no record of a man named Ron. No gas station listed at that address. Nothing. I don't work nights anymore, and I never take side roads, especially ones where the lights flicker and the air feels wrong. Some places aren't abandoned, they're waiting. My name's Jenna, and I'm telling you now, if you ever see a gas station with no name, no prices posted, and a blinking red open sign that doesn't blink in rhythm, keep driving. I didn't. It was nearly 1 a.m. I was 5 hours into a solo road trip for a job interview, and my dashboard had been blinking low fuel for at least the last 20 miles. I'd passed 2 exits with closed stations and 1 with a boarded up diner. So when I saw the gas station lit up like a carnival ride in the middle of pitch black, I didn't hesitate. I was tired, hungry, and running on fumes. The canopy was tall, too tall for a normal gas station. Almost stretched. There were 4 pumps, but only one had a working screen. The others were dark and cracked like they'd been hit with hammers. One even had vines curling up around it. Vines. At a gas station, that should have been enough to make me leave, but the pump worked. The screen was glowing faint green. It read, "Pump activated, prepaid not required, $4.99 per gallon." Not cheap, but I didn't care. I started filling up. The air was oddly warm, humid almost, but it hadn't been earlier. I chalked it up to nerves. The lot was surrounded by trees on all sides. No cars, no road noise, no music, just the low hum of the overhead lights and something else. A clicking sound, like metal tapping on metal, faint, repetitive. I looked around, nothing. When I turned back to the pump, the price had stopped climbing. Cheat 13 cents in. I hadn't touched the handle. I squeezed the trigger again. Nothing. Tank wasn't full. Maybe the pump auto stopped? I didn't hear the usual ka-thunk. I leaned down to look at the nozzle, still fitted into the tank. When I pulled it out, nothing dripped. Bone dry. Weird. I was about to put it back when the screen flashed. "Thank you, Jenna." I dropped the handle. That wasn't just creepy. That was impossible. I hadn't used a card. I hadn't entered my name. No app. No ID. Nothing. I took a step back, and the lights above the pump went out. Not all of them, just the ones above me. The others stayed glowing, humming calmly. But now I stood under pure darkness, and my skin felt cold, like the air had been sucked out of the night. I turned to get in the car, but the driver's door was open. I didn't leave it open. I never leave it open. My heart thudded. I leaned down to look inside. Nothing stolen, nothing out of place. Except my rearview mirror had been tilted upward, facing the roof. I hadn't moved it. I adjusted it. Just reflex. And for a split second, I saw someone in the back seat. I spun around. No one. The back seat was empty, door still closed, but I know what I saw, a reflection, pale face, black eyes, watching me. I slammed the door shut, locked everything, and peeled out of the lot. No sign, no name, no receipt. Just my tank half full and my heart pounding. It should have ended there. It didn't. About 20 minutes later, my headlights caught something ahead. Another gas station. This one looked normal, a little run down, but it had a logo, open store, and a tired-looking guy sweeping near the door. I figured I'd top off my tank there and report the creepy station just to feel better about it. I pulled in, walked to the clerk, and asked if there were any other gas stations nearby, especially one back about 20 miles, no name, red blinking sign. The guy stopped sweeping. "You mean the old crooked stop?" Is that what it's called? He nodded, slowly. Ain't been open in years, burned down, I think. Used to be real popular before the bypass. Real weird spot, though. Place gave folks the creeps. I felt dizzy. No, this one was on. Lit up. Pump was working. I bought gas there just half an hour ago. He shook his head. Impossible. I drive this stretch every night. That lot's been empty since before I started working here. He looked at my car, then frowned. Hey, can I see your receipt? I don't have one, I said, but the pump charged me $13.13, said my name, didn't even ask for a card. He nodded slowly, eyes narrowing. Check your back seat. What? Just check. I turned to look through the window, empty, but when I opened the back door, my hoodie was there. The one I'd left at home. I hadn't packed it. And on the seat next to it, a receipt. I picked it up with shaking hands. Gas station, nump, pump, total, $13 and time, 1:13 a.m. Customer, Jenna, current. What the hell does that mean? I whispered. The clerk stepped back. You should go, he said, right now. I didn't argue. I drove to the nearest motel, locked the doors, and stayed up until dawn. I left the car running outside until the sun came up. Next morning, I checked my phone. I had a new voicemail. No caller ID, just static, and a whisper, next time, bring cash. That was a week ago. Last night, I got off work late, took a wrong turn, ended up near the bypass again. There was a gas station ahead, new sign, white canopy, modern pumps, looked legit. Except when I passed, I saw the red open sign blinking behind the glass door. Not flickering, blinking, in rhythm, like it was breathing. And every time it blinked, I swear, I heard that same metal tapping again, faint, closer. And I don't know how long I'll be able to avoid it because my car, it's burning fuel way too fast now. Every day, every trip, no matter where I go, and every fill up, 13 teens. No matter the price, no matter the pump. And today, the mirror adjusted itself, and I wasn't the one reflected in it. Graveyard stock. I'm Martin, and I run the night stock at a gas station / convenience store tucked between a truck stop and an overpass. It's your standard 2-pump setup with flickering signage, burnt-out bulbs, and that faint smell of fried food that somehow lingers even though we haven't had a fryer in 3 years. Most people assume graveyard shifts are boring. You just wipe counters, restock soda, pretend to mop, and occasionally ring up someone buying Monster and cigarettes. I used to think so too until last Thursday. Martin. I clocked in at 10:59 p.m. Jessica, the swing shift cashier, looked pale as paper. She barely said a word as she handed me the key and hustled out the door like she was being chased. Hey, everything all right? I asked. She just muttered, you'll see, and drove off. That should have been the first red flag. But I was more annoyed than anything. Jessica always left the beer fridge disorganized and the till short. As the hum of her engine faded, I locked the door and went to do inventory. Martin. It started with the cooler. I had just finished rotating milk when I noticed a shadow move across the back wall. Quick, like someone ducked behind the snack aisle. I paused, listened. Nothing but the AC and the usual buzz of that annoying ceiling light in aisle 3. Still, I walked around the corner. No one. I figured maybe it was a trucker who snuck in before I locked the door. Happens sometimes. So I double-checked every aisle, even called out, yo, we're closed inside. Pumps only after 11. Silence. Back at the counter, I checked the security monitor. 6 cameras, all blank. Every feed showed static, except for one. Camera 4, the storage room. That one was pitch black, which was weird because I'd just been in there 5 minutes earlier and the lights were working fine. Martin. I figured maybe the breaker had tripped, so I grabbed the keys and made my way to the back. The hallway leading to the storage room felt colder than usual, like the air was heavier. The kind of cold that seeps into your joints, not your skin. The door to the storage room creaked open too easily. Inside, the light was off. I flipped the switch. Nothing. My flashlight caught rows of shelves, boxes of expired snacks, and the new shipment of windshield wiper fluid. Nothing unusual until I turned around. A pallet jack had moved. It was closer to the door than before, angled, like someone had pulled it out halfway, but I hadn't touched it all shift. Martin. I backed out and locked the storage room, telling myself Jessica probably left it like that. I returned to the register and rebooted the camera system. The feed flickered back one by one, all clear, except camera 4, still pitch black. I was about to call the boss when the motion sensor dinged. Someone had pulled up to pump 2. It was a delivery truck, unmarked, dull gray, no logos, no plate. Martin, normally deliveries come in during the day, but I wasn't going to argue if they were dropping supplies early. The driver didn't come inside, just stood by the pump, staring at the storefront. I waved. He didn't wave back. Figuring he might be lost, I stepped outside. The second I opened the door, the engine roared to life and the truck peeled out, tires screeching, leaving behind a thin, dark puddle by the pump. I walked over. It wasn't oil. It was thicker and red. Martin, I stumbled back inside, locking the door behind me. My hands were shaking. I checked the footage. Nothing on any of the outside cameras. No truck, no man, no puddle. But when I rewound the footage, there was one frame, just one, where something showed up. It was me, standing by pump 2. But the timestamp said 3:03 a.m., and it was only 1:27 a.m. I froze, watched it over and over. That future me was wearing the same clothes, but his mouth was open, like he was screaming. And someone or something was standing behind him. No face, just a long black blur, like it was made of static and ash. I shut off the monitor. No way was I going to sit there watching myself die 2 hours in the future. Instead, I stayed behind the counter. I didn't move, didn't blink, didn't even breathe too hard. Then, right at 2:48 a.m., the storage room door slammed. Martin, I bolted, grabbed the bat we keep under the register and ran toward the back. The hallway light flickered as I neared the door. I stood there, heart hammering, bat raised. The door creaked open on its own. Inside, the pallet jack was gone. In its place, a full-length mirror, but not one we owned. It was old, ornate. The glass shimmered strangely in the fluorescent light. I stared. Then I saw myself. Me. I was moving differently. Slower, my eyes blinked out of sync, my mouth curled into a grin that I knew I wasn't making. Martin, I stepped back. The reflection didn't. It stepped forward, closer to the glass, closer to me. I turned and ran, didn't stop. Locked myself in the bathroom and sat on the floor, listening for movement. At 3:03 a.m. exactly, I heard something slam against the bathroom door. Not once. 3 times. Then silence. When I finally opened the door, the store was empty. The mirror was gone. No pallet jack, no truck, everything perfectly normal. Martin, my boss, called me at 6:59 a.m. just as the sun started to rise. "You good for tonight's shift?" he asked. I almost said no. But then I looked at the cameras. All 6 were working, no glitches, no shadows, except camera 4. That one now showed the inside of the storage room again. And there I was, in the feed, waving. Only I wasn't waving at the camera. I was waving at me, and I swear on my life, I winked. The feed is still live, still showing me standing there, grinning, but I haven't stepped in that storage room since, and I think if I do, I won't be the one who walks back out.